What's going on, everybody? Coach David coming at you with another episode of the Muscle and Mindset Podcast, the number one podcast for those who want to learn how to build muscle, lose fat, and live a confident and fearless and powerful life. I'm your host, Coach David Brazon, and I'm excited about today's episode because I'm going to talk about a myth that we've all seen, heard, and it honestly, um, it it kind of upsets me when I see it, when I read it, and the way people talk about it, and that is carbohydrates. Why? Why people say that carbohydrates make you gain fat? Guys, that is a fat. That's not true. That is not a fact. It is not real. Carbohydrates do not make you fat. And people say, well, but doesn't insulin inhibit your fat burning process? What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna help you out here. And I'm gonna give you a few names that you might want to remember for later, right? We're gonna talk about three things: fat balance, your fat stored, and your fat burn, right? If you're following a diet that is higher in carbohydrates and a bit lower in fat, you burn less fat, but you also store more fat. Okay. This episode, I'm gonna make it very simple because I want you to understand why carbohydrates are not the enemy and you need them in your life and your diet because they are a macronutrient that is extremely important. On the other hand, we have a diet that is higher in fat and a little bit lower in carbohydrates. What's going to happen? You're going to burn much more fat, but you're also going to store more fat. See the correlation there? See how this actually makes sense? But it's a little confusing, isn't it? Here's the fact, guys. Here's an actual fact. Less than 3% of the fat store is in the adipose. You've probably heard of adipose tissue, right? That is under the regular dietary condition is from carbohydrates. 3%, literally 3%, that is absolutely nothing. How? Carbs make you fat. Yeah, that's what, keto Karen says. That's what the Karens and the Susans of nutrition say. Carbs make you fat. Guys, that is not a fact. That is not a fact. I'm going to tell you a fact here. Over 97% of the fat stored in your body comes from fat. You're going to tell me, no way, for real? Yes, it is. What will help you figure out the actual net storage of fat is your energy balance. I need you to do yourself a favor and stop stressing about carbohydrates. I want you to look at it this way. I want to give you a way easier way to look at carbohydrates as your friend, and I want you to look at it as your budget, your monthly allowance, the money that you get from your sugar daddy or your sugar mommy. Shit, I'm gonna get some heat for that. Guys, think about it this way. Think of it as your monthly allowance, right? And we're going to use an example of a lower fat diet. So you're going to have, I'm going to give you $300 per week, but you're only going to spend $250. What does that do? Or what does that tell you? That means that your net saving is $50 in that week, right? If you have 300 and you spend 250, you're saving $50. That's very little. Now, on the flip side, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to use a higher carbohydrate diet, a little bit higher, and look at it as the same way you did with your allowance. You have now $1,000, and you're going to spend $950. In the first scenario, with the lower fat diet, you had 300 and you spent 250. That saved you $50 on that week. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to have $1,000 and we're going to spend $950. I want you to tell me, what is going to be your net saving? Guys, it's going to be the same $50. Your net savings is the exact same whether you make more money or not. It is the same. It's the same deal for fat balance. What do we do? You need to stop worrying about carbohydrates and what Karen is telling you about keto and all this different garbage that people want to do because they're trying to look for the quick fix. Guys, this takes time. If you want to lose fat, if you want to build a bigger booty, if you want to have abs, if you want to look good for the summer, it all starts by building habits. You don't get, $300,000 in your bank account and your savings by sitting on your ass, right? You need to create habits of putting away each week $1,000, $500, $10. And those are habits that are going to allow you to at some point have $300,000 put away. You need to create the same habits for your fat loss and your weight loss. That is the only thing that is going to help you get to your goal. So I want you to take away this lesson and understand that carbohydrates are not your enemy. They're your friends. It's going to give you energy. Of course, based on your body composition, we might need to tweak some things around, right? Because you might need a little bit less carbohydrates, or you might need a little bit more carbohydrates. So what we're going to do is, like, I want you to send me a DM with the word fat loss on Instagram so I can see if there's anything stopping me from helping you. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please share this episode with someone who you believe might benefit from this. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have the greatest day of your entire life. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Muscle and Mindset Podcast. Coach David signing out. Peace.